Torey, you were managing this team in 2017. Last time you'd reached the postseason, 6 years. Can kind of show you how hard it is to make it back to the postseason, to be here in this moment where your team is moving on. What is that time, kind of thinking about what it would feel like mean to you right now?
Yeah, that's an unbelievable question, right? You lump up the last 6 years, and consider what we've walked through and the dark times that we had. This is a pretty special moment. There's a lot of emotion inside of this organization, inside of this clubhouse right now. 2017 was a magical year. We had some great players, and it was just a different time. And the players that have cycled through our system, that have learned our values and morals, are here on this stage performing. It makes it a little bit more special. I've known these kids for 5 or 6 years as they've been developing into the system, and it is a true connection. That's what I'm thinking about right now when I get asked the question, what's the difference between last time, this time, with the 6 years? It's the dark times coming out the other end, and then celebrating with kids that I've watched basically grow up right before my very eyes.
Torey, you never know how a young team is going to respond to its first trip to a playoff setting as a group. And it seemed like the last two nights there were just a series of kind of fulcrum moments that could have tipped both games in either direction. It seemed like your team won almost all of those moments. I mean, what does that say about just how ready they were to seize this opportunity?
Yeah, first of all, you're not sure how they're going to respond on this stage. It's a very, very big stage. But we've been talking about training yourself and getting into a mental state from spring training on, about being able to execute at the most critical time and have success. And not a success doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to throw a strike and get that strike out or get a base hit. It means I'm going to be in control. I'm going to control what I can, take some deep breaths, and execute at the highest level. And for me, that's all about preparation. So as I watched the past couple of days unfold, falling behind yesterday, pushing back against a really true number one starter in Corbin Burns, I felt like we were capable of doing anything at any time. That had shown me a lot. I will say, for the first 4 innings of today's game, we were absolutely shut down by Peralta. Our starting catcher goes out, and you talk about adaptability and resiliency. That was in the forefront of today's day more than anything. Our guys were tough, and it was a young group that stepped up. And how they do it and how they learned it, I'm not sure. But I think they were ready for this from all the things that we've been talking about and training them with over the past 4 or 5 years of developing them.
Torey, the Brewers were able to kind of, get Zac's pitch count up really early in this game, and we've seen in the postseason this year and in years past that can be a moment where a manager pulls the plug early, especially when the games are so tight like that. Where was your confidence level in Zac that he'd be able to turn things around and that you'd be able to get as much out of him as you did tonight?
My confidence level is always high with Zac. I know through the 5 years that I've known him, there have been a couple of clunkers, and they were very identifiable, but I can count them on one hand. I felt very strongly that, knowing Zac the way that I did, that he was gonna rise to the occasion and start to make some pitches and start to sequence pitches and get into a rhythm, which he did. I will tell you this, I will share it. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to talk to him. He walked by me after the first inning, and it almost like a "don't you dare" comment, said, "I'm giving you 7 today if you give me over 100 pitches." And I said, "Go ahead and show me, get it done." He came close, but I think he really stepped up and started to make pitches and gave us a chance to catch our breath. It's too early, and then it was 5 shutdown innings in true Zac form. And my confidence level was very high because he's only given me his best, and I knew that's what was going to happen today.
Torey, 8th inning, they load the bases, and you not only make a pitching change, and almost felt like you changed momentum.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that moment tonight?
Yeah. I asked a lot of Kevin Ginkel yesterday. He went 2 innings, 30-plus pitches, and I knew that there was a chance that his stuff would back up a little bit today. And talking to the pitching coaches, as we were watching him as we were watching him do his work, I could tell that he was a little gassed out. I felt like we had an understudy in Andrew Salfrank, who's joined us over the past 2 months of this season, who's been throwing the ball really well, ready to take the reins and kind of establish himself in a young moment. What are you going to give me? Are you ready for this? And he had given me in every outing prior to this, he had given me every reason to believe that he was ready for this opportunity. And in my opinion, it's just my opinion, I am a very young manager when it comes to playoff experience. I think I might have said it pre-game one, that stopping momentum and stopping these big runs is the most important thing in playoff baseball. So you have to do some uncharacteristic things. That's what I felt was the need. I trusted Andrew Salfrank, and I just wanted to change the mojo and change the momentum, and it worked out well.
The quality of at-bats you got out of the 9-hole in this series these last 2 days, last night in the 9th especially, and then today it got you going with the 0-2 to a walk to start that rally.
Yeah. Geraldo Perdomo has been doing it all year long for us. He continues to grow and learn. We've got you go around the diamond, there's 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds, and they play just well above their age. And, I was talking to Perdomo about that, and I said, hey, we need you on right here. You get on, something could happen. But he's there for a reason, because if we turn over the lineup and he's on base, and we know that he sees pitches and he draws a lot of walks, we feel like we're going to score some runs. And I feel like he knew what that at-bat was asking for. And you're right, it went from 0-2 to 4-2. And he's done that a lot for us, and I think that was a difference in the game, obviously.
A couple things. First, just real quick, how's Marino and what happened with him there? I mean, we saw what happened, but
Yeah, he is doing okay. He's not in the concussion protocol. I think they're running some tests on him right now, but obviously it was a backswing, and it's just part of the game. And by no means was Turang trying to do it. There was no malicious act. It just happened. But Gabby just, for a second or two there, he felt like he was a little dizzy. And then when we were visiting with him on the mound or at the home plate, he started to feel a little bit less dizzy. And he said, I want to stay in this game. Please don't take me out of this game, is basically what I remember. And I remember telling him, look, at any point in time, if we don't like anything that we see, I am going to remove you from this game. So he completed the inning, and then he was examined by our team doctors, and they felt like it was just too risky to run him back out there.
And then I wanted to ask you about the next series. How fitting is it, and how exciting is the challenge that not only have you advanced to the next round, but after your last appearance in that round facing the Dodgers, that's who you get to take on?
We know the Dodgers very well, and it's going to be a great challenge. But I know this team is connected, and I feel like this team is very dangerous when they are connected. I believe in them. They believe in themselves, which is the most important thing. So we're going to take it one game at a time. We respect every opponent, and we know the ins and outs of their lineup. We know the ins and outs of their changes, their coaching staff, the stadium. We know it all. So we're going to walk into a pretty big environment once again, and we'll see how these young players step up, and I believe they're going to get the job done.
Last one's for Torey.
Thanks, guys. Okay, yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Alek, people have talked about the age of this team as a collective and what you guys may or may not be able to do. Do you feel like that's been overblown, or do you feel like that youthful energy has been able to help you guys, take high-pressure moments like this and be able to play your game?
Yeah, I mean, definitely got some younger guys in the group, but I don't think that really matters. I think the guys that we have are built for the moment, and, it showed the past 2 days.
Zach, obviously the Brewers ran up your pitch count there in the first inning, and Torey was just telling us that at some point you had a moment where you said to him, I'm giving you 7 or something along those lines. Do you recall that moment, and what did you do to settle into your start?
Yeah, I came in after the first, and I was like, if you give me 110, I'll get you 7. I lied. I only gave him 6. But yeah, I mean, they did a good job running the pitch count up, and I knew going into this game that we used a lot of the bullpen last night. So if I didn't go deep, it was going to put us in a hole for potentially tomorrow. So I just tried to stay in attack mode. And just tried to make pitches. I mean, unfortunately, I was letting the leadoff batter on a lot of those innings. But just tried to make pitches when I had to, and just keep us in it. Keep the offense in it, and give us a chance to win the game.
Zach, you've had a front row seat to the development of this team throughout the year. As one of the veterans of this group, what has this team proven to you over the course of 162 and now these 2 wildcard games?
Yeah, I think twofold. One, age doesn't really matter. I think we had our ebbs and flows of the season that kind of battle tested us quicker than maybe we thought. But at the same time, the second part of that would be, if you got 26, 28 guys, whatever, how many are on the roster, that show up and care about each other and love each other and just want to grind it out and, be a tough out and be a tough inning on the mound, can do some serious damage for sure.
For Alek, Peralta was shutting y'all down for the first 4 2/3 innings up to your swing. Just what kind of changed there? How were you able to get to him in the middle innings there?
I think maybe my bat maybe changed a little bit of his flow. But I mean, together collectively, after me, I think we definitely put together some great at-bats and, ultimately took the lead. And, it was pretty cool to see, Corbin get that double down the line and, our guys drive him in. So I think once we put together some great at-bats, things turned our way.
Zach, we've seen throughout this postseason and postseasons past that managers get a quicker trigger for starters when they find themselves in a rough patch. For you to have Torey's trust to be able to get out of a lot of those jams early, what does that just mean to you to have the confidence of your manager that you can get out of any situation?
Yeah, for sure. I think that kind of is just a credit to Torey and I having trust in each other, throughout the season and even the last couple years of times where I got to be honest with him and be like, hey, I'm running out of gas here. But also at the same time when I tell him, like, I got it, stay out of my way, like, he, tends to kind of take that and, he's okay with it. So I think that was kind of my thought when I told him, like, I'll get you 7. So yeah, it's just having a good relationship with Torey, really, for sure. I think is what it boils down to.
For Zach, just what does it say for the bullpen the way they've pitched the last 2 nights? I don't think they gave up a run in 6 innings last night and then backing you up tonight.
Yeah, I think the bullpen's been our MVP, honestly, the last month or so. And I think it's the part of our team that's kept us in a lot of games. And I mean, it's not like a secret that they had their struggles in the middle of the year. And that the bullpen, when you watch these teams, that go deep in the postseason, the bullpen is usually the one that kind of prevails a lot, and that's what keeps you in games. So it's been awesome to watch. We've had guys like Paul Sewald, and we had Ryan Thompson, and then you get a rookie like Sal Frank comes up, and Ginkel's coming into his own, and then everyone just kind of falling into place and doing their job. I think it's been awesome to watch. It's been awesome as a starter knowing, like, all right, just get through 6, 7, 8, 9 is going to be locked down. And then, sure enough, tonight they did their job again. So, yeah, it's been amazing.
Zach, how long did it take your heart rate to get back to normal after that double play to end the 3rd? And then the more conventional one in the 4th, the next inning, helped you out too.
Yeah, I would like to think that I had any sort of that was such a look what I found catch in the 3rd inning. I usually get beat by balls that get past me just how I finish. I just tried to make a play. I talked with Fitzy, like, we're playing with house money. It's like, nobody expects us to be here. Just try to make a play, keep us in the game. Thankfully, I guess it fell out of my glove and we could turn 2. And I think that kind of settled the momentum on their side and kind of gave us a little, we could take a deep breath, and then, the offense did what they had to do.
For either or both of you guys, standard in your division for a long time has been the Dodgers. And how exciting is it to have the opportunity that that's the team that's your next challenge?
Do you want me to? Yeah, I don't think it's any secret that the Dodgers for sure had the division's number, had our number. I think that we've also showed a growth in the sense of the mindset and the culture change here of being able to go into, Dodger Stadium and hang with them. I think it's in our favor that we're going to a familiar place. We play on 6-7 games there a year, and it's an opponent we're familiar with. So it's going to be a good test for sure. But I mean, I everybody in that locker room is excited to get there and see what we're made of.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you in LA.
Thanks, guys.